What's up, everybody? This is Edward back with another video. If you're new here, make sure you like and subscribe for the people that's going to be watching this. Um, I'm about to address something real quick. So this is going to be for anyone that has an issue with how I do stuff. Something to say. So rather than people kind of like talking around it, waiting for me to get on other panels to say something, we're gonna say this now. So that's one reason this video is for. It's not a big deal. It's just some people don't want to say they got a philosophical issue with what I'm talking about. We're gonna address it and we're gonna get that rolling. And then this is also gonna be um about a video that I just saw. Shout out to Soul Provider Speaks. We had to reschedule because of scheduling conflicts. That shit happens. Hopefully I can do it Saturday because I definitely want to get on that. And I am open to do interviews. And I don't look at necessarily how large or how small a channel is to do that. I'm not like that. And yeah, I'm gonna drop the share link early because I want to get this over. And no, I'm not, I'm gonna get what I gotta get said, but definitely if you want to come up, you'll definitely be able to be heard. And it is what it is. So first of all, I also want to shout out Nurse Nerd for coming on. I'm definitely going to clip out that part of the stream because I think that was a good stream. Shout out to the new subscribers that I've been getting. This channel. Look, if when anybody that has a difference of opinion can come on. I'm not against that, and it's straight. Let's see what I want to jump on. Let's do fucking turn on Netflix in the background. So anyway, let's address the title. And actually, I'm waiting for something because I'm actually about to edit my shit a little bit. My lives. Let everybody get in here. So first things, I know you all haven't seen it because for the most part we don't. I know you all don't want to dedicate views to Crystal and Karazine. You never see me address her like that. I've always left that to other people. But I got a video below with Soul Provider Speaks, and definitely y'all check him out. And if y'all want to sub to him. But I just listened to his video where he broke down a Karazine video talking about with a white dude by the name of Jordan something that is a millionaire, has a company, all that. So, you got these dudes that have companies that are millionaire. And by the way, Dennis Sperling, who is a millionaire lawyer as well, is going to do a his own take on what upper class and middle class women want. I also would point you all out to O'Shea's video where he has, I think her name is Roxy. Very, very I've listened to a couple of videos, like what I hear, definitely like what I hear. Very sensible woman. She was sensible on O'Shea stuff. And I would definitely point any females that are listening to this to her. This is a black woman, dark skin, colorism. She passes the colorism test, featureism test, fitness, all of that. And she talks about a lot of these things. 10,000 subs, but she'll get more. Probably her stuff is depressed, probably because she says she's telling it like it is, but in a very fun, bubbly type of way. So anybody that comes here, just like a Karazine, like a fanatic, look, I will point you over there, and I'll actually show the channel in a little bit. In fact, I'll show the channel while I'm running my mouth. Let me see, and that's so. Anyway, while I'm bringing this up, like I said in the title, Karazine is going to be one of the reasons why a lot of these women will die alone. So Obsidian has been talking about this for at least 2 or 3 years now, 2 years now, which is, do you have a hospice plan? And Kevin's already knew this, but that's one thing discussion that was done it's still being talked about a few years ago for people that don't know because they're not in the space that we're in. And I get that. And what he was saying is you see an increase of women that are spinsters. and basically an increaser with a spinster is a female that doesn't have, they don't have kids, and they don't have a relationship, and they have no prospects of having kids because they passed that point of having children. And this is very high amongst black women. This is very high amongst black women that are very career minded. If you actually look at it, and generally the black church has been one of the principal ways of really taking money from women and injecting them with things like black church feminism and the prosperity gospel, which pretty much doesn't objectively solve their problem. And these women, because a lot of women like to find God in their late 30s because they think God is going to provide them with a man. This is relevant because Kevin comes out of the church and he did work on this as far as, the singles like situations, as far as ministries amongst that. He talks about that. And I went to church. My family went to church, but we weren't like in it like that. Meaning it wasn't like an issue to not go to church. It wasn't. But my thing is, what you see people like Derrick Jackson and Karazine and other women that profit. Now I'm separating this from the femininity people, because the femininity people is actually a different animal. So I'm actually taking them out of it. So Shira 7, Nicole, April, I'm actually taking them out of it. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm taking them out of this conversation because they are selling you a result, meaning they are saying that they can teach you how to be more feminine, and by de facto you will be able to get a man. So by definition, they are actually putting themselves on the line by doing that, because women are buying a specific result. That is not what Karazine. Shout out to Mr. Meach. Saw Roxy Riddle on Kevin's last year. I didn't know that. And I didn't know that. I appreciate that, because I'm gonna definitely try to find that video. And let me bring it. I don't want to leave you down there forever, Super Triz. Yeah, what's up, Soul Provider Speaks? Yeah, I was listening to your stuff. I know you probably didn't get my stuff. So if you want to come on here, you can definitely do that, and we can promote your channel before we do the interview. So the link is definitely there for you. I'm only going to have like 4 people on at a time. So I'm going to have 2. I may leave a spot open for no, I'm not leaving no spot open for a female. Female makes herself known. We'll see what we need to do. But I'm only having 3 other people. Super Triz or 2 other people. So anyway, my point is though, basically, and I promote, and by the way, so I put your video in the description because I don't want these dudes watching that. I'd rather than watch you and you react to it and give you the views and watch Karazine and give her the views. Damn that. So I got your video, but I also have her video in there too in case y'all want to go directly to what the source is. But anyway, and I'm glad you came up here, Super Triz, because you're in the medical field, so you deal with a lot of high earners. So give me a second. So basically, the black church is out of the pie chart of, if you look at the market of liars, of people that lie to women for money, the church is basically McDonald's. It's basically McDonald's. They occupy a majority of market share of that. And even Kevin admitted that. Even Kevin said that, alluded to that. And I mean, he says that black men are not in the church, yet what you have is a whole bunch of women in the church, and then even some gay men in the church. And then you have like pastors and bishops where they're basically low-key running harems. Now, obviously there's great pastors. Dr. Kevin Crosby is one of them. Myron Gold is not a pastor, but he is a kick-ass dude. So this is not me blanking and everything, but we know it's there. We know it's systemic. So it doesn't matter, big churches, small churches. Let's stop bullshitting. So you have that. Now what you have is, in the secular world, you have, people like Derrick Jackson. You have the Black Love Industry Obsidians talked about. You have, and there's different degrees to it. You have people like Karazine and a lot of that social media market where they are not really selling you anything. They're selling you an idea. It's kind of like dating coaches in a way, where you have people dating coaches, and then you have like dating affiliates, which you have people that they defend the idea of dating coaching, and they won't really tell you. They're not like really review people. Like they can tell you that like this is good, these concept is good, this one's not, this dude is saying this is not. What they're doing is just selling you the idea of you should basically buy those services. And so they're not really educating people as to what they should actually look for to make it a more better and efficient marketplace. Now, they're actually contributing to basically being led like a sheep. And this is actually one of the things as to what blew up the dating coach market in the 2000s when 2008 happened and paved the way for things like MGTOW. Is basically what they did was they deforested the dating coach market, and basically people started to get very pissed off because they realized that they weren't really selling results, or the majority of them weren't selling results. To give you a perfect example of this, so it doesn't seem like I'm blanketing all dating coaches, we will take Alan Roger Curry. Alan Roger Curry, his main thing in the dating coach market or contribution was direct dating. Basically, say what you want, stand on it. It's high risk and high reward. That is true. It is high risk and high reward. This is not to say the other way, the indirect way, is irrelevant. I actually think you should have a combination of both. But the thing that I've always valued with Alan Roger Curry's work, irregardless of if he gets mad at me or not, is the fact is the biggest issue for a man is his relationship with rejection. And if he can master his relationship with rejection, just like as a Jedi, if you can master fear, then a lot of what women do becomes very irrelevant because you're not as emotionally injected to this. Actually, there's a guy by the name of Jeffrey Combs. Shout out to him. He runs a podcast called Golden Mastermind Podcast. It's probably one of the best podcasts you can look at of self-improvement. It's got like 20 years worth of stuff, 52 weeks times 20. So what, 1040 podcasts, and it talks about these very things, how events trigger certain psychological reactions that are autopilot and have autopilot physical responses. And he does this more in references to making calls and generating business, but you can apply it to Alan Roger Curry's work as well. So my point is, Alan Roger Curry's work when it comes to direct dating, the majority of the dating coach market shun that, and because they sold against that, because they know that people fear rejection. So from a marketing standpoint, if you sell that they can give you a result without rejection, the risk of rejection, then people will buy. And so technically Alan Roger Curry was probably the way you needed to go. But because people naturally feared that, they shunned away from that, which is why he didn't blow up as much as he otherwise could have. Part of it was because he was black too. But that's the main thing. Even though the indirect dating shit, a lot of that shit came from Tariq Nasheed too. It was remixed from his original shit. But whatever. My point is, that is what paved the way to MGTOW, because what's happening is as these females started to pick up on the patterns of a lot of these dating coaches, if this stuff was practiced at a very mediocre level, these dudes, the shit started blowing up in their face because they started doing the same shit over and over again. And because they couldn't handle rejection, well, this is where the MGTOW, the red pill, the black pill bullshit came. Well, not bullshit. This is how that started. So it wasn't so my point is we're kind of coming back to another cycle where people are kind of trying to do the same thing, although the golden age of the dating coaching is really over. So coming back to the female side, now the females are in an environment in which the dudes don't care about being in relationships as much as they used to. They're either on pump and dump, they're outright out, or some of them married, but I'm almost done, Super Dress. But the market isn't what it once was. It's kind of like, ocean liners versus flying planes. It's just not a market for it as much as it used to be. And women are very hypersensitive to this. So now there's already more women than there are men. So a lot of this shit is mathematics, and it's undebatable. It's almost like you debating, everybody dies, and you having debate against that. Okay, by definition, you're delusional, the fact that you're even willing to debate that. So anyway, I just wanted to set the table. No, absolutely. And the thing is, a lot of shit that I don't do it because I'm looking to get something from somebody. I do it because I hate that phrase, do it for the culture. God, I hate that phrase. But I do it for the community, and I do my little part. I'm not acting like I'm, spread waves. But anyway, what's up, Super Trust?
And what's going on, Edward?
Yeah, I had to have my long wind on my monologue at the beginning to set the table. But you work in a high income earning field in the medical industry, which is very good. So you're a very good person to come up for this. You've also been overseas, so you have a lot of dynamics you can speak to. So Basically, just to school you a little bit, this dude, they bring you up to speed. Kristen LeCarazin did a video with a dude that is a certified millionaire, business owner, all of that, and he basically stated that he's a lawyer. So let's say he makes high six figures because that's what he was making when he said he met his wife. He's 33. His wife was 27 when he met her. He's saying that most men, and he can speak to white men, but we were speaking to men in general, basically even are not, even when they already make six figures, so they've gotten to where they want to go to, that looks is really, he literally said, and I quote, looks is really not a factor in who we look to date. It's kind of it, but it's not really. In fact, it's really not really a factor in what we look to date. We care about who the person is and how they are going to be as a mate. I want your comments on that. Is that true? Not true? Is there some truth to it?
Well, I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but personally, from my perspective, I don't think that.
Well, when I say that, I'm not saying I get that. Well, let me rephrase it. From what you've seen, being that you're in the medical field, meaning you're around dudes. You're in Seattle.
Oh, I
You're around. So speak to what you've seen, at least in your own personal orbit, because you're in a good orbit. That's a different industry than being a lawyer, but still an industry where you're going to see a lot of high earners, whether they're nurses, medical professionals, and administrators, as well as your own personal take.
Well, I think the typical lawyer versus the typical physician, you're talking about different personality types. So that's going
Good
to
point.
influence their mate selection. Like, a lot of the people, a lot of the you're talking about medical industry, these are more like nerds type, geeks type people. And so their perspective as far as dating, and then a lot of them are socially awkward. Like you look at a typical lawyer, there's certain characteristics that make you a successful lawyer. Part of that is interpersonal communication dynamics. That's something that lawyers have to be able to master in order to articulate their case, whether it be for the plaintiff or defendant. And so this is the reason why, like, you look at lawyers, and we have a couple of lawyers that work in the medical field. Obviously, there's lawyers that are around, but typically speaking, you're talking about the healthcare industry. So these are people that typically they're not as, I would say, as outgoing. Typically, I mean, there are exceptions to the rule, but what I see in my particular field, well, number one, there's a lot of foreigners. So you start talking about foreign dating dynamics. A lot of them, a lot of their mate choices are not necessarily a personal decision completely. There's other people that actually influence their decision.
They do a lot of matchmaking, like for
Yes.
real, like for
Yeah.
real. This is who the fuck you gonna be with, type. I mean, we'll take your opinion into account when we go look, but
Mhm.
if we do that, that's what they're
Or
starting to do.
or they say this is the pool you have to choose from.
Yeah, that's what they're starting to come off of now. Like a lot of Indians that are like second and third, like third and fourth, third generation. They're starting to say, okay, we can't just give them somebody. We got to give them a pool, and they still accept that. So go ahead.
Yeah, and then for then those who were like more Americanized, even them, um like a lot of the guys, they're not necessarily marrying really hot chicks, and this is where I was gonna go with this.
Yeah, no, I mean, look,
Um,
man, say what you want. This is, I'm not asking you for you to give something that's relevant to the show. If I'm wrong and I'm off base,
no, no,
BGS, I
no.
hope you come off. Let me know. Gabe, no, Gabe thinks I'm off base, so I'm just letting you know. And Gabe agrees with the white guy. So, but go ahead. I just wanted to make that clear.
Well, I mean, one of the things that I've noticed is that there's a lot of what you would consider inappropriate, what will be deemed by a company or by a corporate entity as inappropriate um, uh, relations between staff members. And so you'll find that even those that are married, it's not necessary to really pick your mate based on aesthetic appeal, because you can have extramarital interactions that are based on merely physical characteristics, because you don't have to be with that person. So it's like it's not like people act like the marriage decision, especially for a man. That's not like you act like because you get married, that's the last woman you're going to be with for the rest of your life. So if you have it in your mind that, okay, I'm going to be with this woman as a marriage, but when I want to have somebody with certain physical characteristics, I can still pursue that even though I'm married. Because from my perspective, it's not your charge, it's not your metric for performance as a man to practice fidelity. That's the woman's responsibility.
Okay.
That, no, really.
No, because that
We going
wasn't
somewhere
said.
different.
So that wasn't said in the video. So go ahead. I'm
Well,
glad you
I'm
said it.
saying it, and listen, and the views and
Love it.
opinions that I express are not necessarily reflective of the host or other members on the panel. But personally, I feel that as a man, you're not necessarily tasked with fidelity. That's the woman's charge, because you have to ask yourself, what exactly is a woman bringing to the table? If you're expected to provide resources and that's your metric for performance, how then are you expected to practice fidelity? The woman is supposed to be practicing fidelity because she's bringing forth her womb to the
I love it.
relationship. So this whole concept of men being faithful, and then women saying, "Oh, this man, I'm not with him because he cheated." No, a man cheats by taking resources from his household and giving it to somebody else. That's how a man cheats. When you're having extramarital babies, what they call break babies, and now you have to take resources from your household, from your spouse, from your lineage within that household, and you have to share it with somebody else outside of that household. That's when it becomes cheating. But
I
see,
mean, I
if
think
you
the
as a
cheating
man,
thing
There's
is an
precedent
issue.
for that. Donald, hold on.
Yeah.
Donald Sperling's wife is even though they were older. So when people get older, this is the interview that we're going to eventually do when me and Sole Provider speaks. So there is precedent. I've seen that, and you see that with a lot of high level people. So absolutely, man, you brought something that I did not hear in Sole Provider Speaks video. And that's a good take, and I'm glad, because this is not about, oh, you come on my show, so you need to do a narrative. I don't do that. And yeah, you added that dynamic. Now I would say that most of these dudes ain't got the balls to do what you're talking about, because they'll wind up like that Divorce Court documentary. Mark Sanford's a perfect example of that. When he went on the Appalachian Trail and look at what happened to his career, that chick was conservative. She didn't have no problem torpedoing it. But in concept, yes, I've seen that. You
well,
got
well,
certain people
well,
that pull that.
there's a caveat, Edward, and this is where a lot of men
Yeah.
run into problems. The problem is that you have to set the precedent early, and you have to make it understood that
True.
this is my responsibility as a man. This is your responsibility as a woman. We have different roles within this relationship. Understand that as a woman, you're desiring a man that's desired by a lot of other women. So why are you expect? See, when you look at other groups outside of the United States, you look at the way the dynamics are. It's not necessarily that women want their man to step outside of that relationship, but they understand it. It's a difference.
Yeah. And again, we're talking about everybody. We're not talking specifically about the Black community at this point, because we already know. But BGS, you are definitely welcome to come on. I definitely want you to get on this. But Gabe, you said you agree, and like I said, Super Triz has a different take on it than I do. So you said you agreed with the white dude. So what did you agree with specifically?
I think I
Like
agree
based on
with
what I said. Based on what I
yeah.
said. Yeah.
I think I agree with the point that looks is not from my peer group and brothers who are primarily high earners. That looks is not the primary thing which has constituted for successful marriages, right? I'm not saying that it isn't something that's important, but it's not the highest priority, right?
So
Things
I
about
know,
Mhm.
and I get. So have you heard Kevin? Have you, like, I'm not talking about the show. I heard him talk to understand what he's about a little bit.
Kevin Samuels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been around for a little while.
Okay. So
Yeah,
no, absolutely. I'm not. This ain't me trying to put you in a certain box. I accept
sure.
what you said. What I'm saying is the reason why this came up is because the argument is that Kevin is pretty much been telling people that looks is the primary thing that these people look for in his criticism overall. Would you agree with that?
So looks is the primary thing
That's
that
what
people
he's been
look
doing.
for.
Would you agree that based on what you have heard, that
Mhm.
that is what he's been communicating? Yeah, BJ, I'm trying to bring you up. My Give me a
So
second.
so
Would you agree that's what Kevin's been communicating? Because that's what all these motherfuckers are crying about, and that's
that
pretty
looks
much
is the
why Karazine
primary.
did.
I
That
want to understand
looks is
the
that high
question.
value
Wait,
men. Okay,
real quick.
that's my fault. That's my fault.
So let me
Hold on, I'm gonna redo it because
repeat the
that's my
question
fault.
to you.
So
Okay, go ahead.
yeah, so a lot of the criticism, other than how he said it, which paved the way for this video that Karazine just did,
Okay.
with this white dude, is that Kevin is telling women that looks is the primary thing that high value men are looking for. Now, I'm saying, hold on, I'm asking you, based on what you know of Kevin and what you have heard Kevin say, do you believe that that is what Kevin is communicating to these women?
No, I don't think that's the primary thing that he's communicating. That's one of the things, but I don't think it's the only thing that he communicates.
Okay, great. And I wanted to ask you that because that I want you to understand that's where this video is coming from. So
Gotcha.
you or I, that's cool with your peer group. Now another question I'm gonna ask you is, out of your peer group, how many dudes that make similar what you do in your orbit, right, have ugly wives? And there's a reason. Hold on, and I'm gonna say why I'm asking that. I'm asking you that because I understand, and BGS is on here. He can speak for it. We've always said in the manosphere, the best wife to get if you're a high value dude is an upgradable 7. That's what we've said. Ain't nobody, and 8s, 9s, or 10s are for the streets. That is the official, pretty much manosphere accepted thing. So we say that. Nobody has ever said that dudes are supposed to get 10s or 9s. You got to pay for a 10 or 9, and then you still got to pay to keep them because of other factors. And Kevin comes from that mindset too. So all of this thing that all these other people are bringing. So anyway, that's basically what I wanted to add.
Let me answer your question.
So at that point, go along what you want to go along with at this point.
So to answer your question, I think most of the brothers that I know that are in the same type of peer group or the same earning level, most of us do have like upgradable 7s. Maybe the lowest probably would be a 6 based upon who you're asking. But yeah, mostly everybody is like in the 6 to 7 range. I wouldn't say somebody that's like
maybe a few 8s.
Nobody has a 10. Nobody has a 9. I wouldn't say anybody has an 8, but I would say 7 would probably.
Nobody marries a 10. If dudes in your range,
right? That's what I'm talking about. Marriage is the context.
In other words, your 10 is your side chick.
Yeah, I don't have any side chicks, and if they I'm not
talking about you particularly. Okay, I'm talking about a lot of dudes. Well, most dudes that in your range,
the people Super Tree is talking about,
that has a wife is a 6. She got him early. They've been married a while.
Yeah, and that's another point, right?
That, Gabe, what he said. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
my bad. I'm not trying
but that's another point. People they know each other early, like whether in college or whether they grew up together. Typically, college is where a lot of us have met our spouses. Yeah, that's typically where it happens. So yes, I do affirm that point.
Yeah, and Kevin also said that. Kevin also said that if you're gonna be a 5 or a 6. And you want a dude that's a high earner, you get him early. In other words, you meet him in college or high school, or at the very least at the beginning of his career. You don't meet him at 35.
Yeah.
Well, basically, a woman is trying to capture that man's attention when he's at his lowest sexual marketplace and marriage marketplace.
It's like a stock. Buying low.
Because there's guys that I work
long
with,
game,
that were 100% focused on school.
Yeah.
So by the time they got out of school and they start actually making money, even before they make money, because as a resident, you're making like maybe $50,000, $60,000 a year, so you're not making any money as a resident, right? But just the fact that they're physicians, people and women recognize that they're physicians, they automatically start having access. Because believe it or not, I mean, at my hospital, there's some 8s and 9s that are working at my hospital, especially during the day shift. You got some 8s and 9s that's working, and a lot of these guys, glasses, pocket protectors, and they bagging.
And then what?
And once they have exposure to a woman of that particular echelon, it's hard to kind of go back to dealing with a 5 or a 6.
Yeah, why the 5s? A 5 probably is not going to get a higher earning dude. Okay, more than likely, she's not gonna get a higher dude. She's going. There's a floor, and that, like Gabe says, the floor is probably an upgradable 6, maybe a 7. If for a wife, That's a sweet spot, right?
Right.
And trust and believe, if a brother that's potentially high earning, that he's a pocket protector dude, he get him 8 or 9, and she gonna stick with him. He ain't gonna get no 5. Okay, trust and believe. If
Who
all
would
men
you
get
get?
all men
Oh, my
get
bad.
the best woman. Any man's gonna get the best looking woman he can get, right? Especially if you're young.
Yeah, so there, so and that's the thing that's missing too, that I've heard that nobody saying that everybody want to critique is almost like rings on a tree. I can look at who the woman, I can tell when that woman got with you based on how much you make and how she looks. If she looks good, then if she looks good, I'm not talking about like around the way girl pretty. You know, I'm not talking about like how, you know, like, because we know the exotic pretty versus that. Everybody wants to make it like we're talking about these exotic, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to make men seem like men, not black men, but men are being shallow and men are just choosing Instagram models and thoughts. Yeah, some of even your athletes, they're fucking them, but most of them are not choosing that when it comes to get married. But these women that they are getting with, they're like LeBron James's wife. Very cute and attractive, upgradable. But this idea that you getting like fucking who Amari Haldrick was with, or who Mike Coulter's with, them average looking at best white chicks, that's bullshit. They got them early.
They got him early.
Fucking time.
They got him early. Yep. They got him early when nobody believed in him.
Yep. And there's loyalty. And the thing is, and you look at Swiss Beats and as far as like, so another thing I wanted to ask you is, we say upgradable 6 or 7. Give us somebody that you would say.
Oh yeah, it's real easy. The upgradable 6 would be what's her name? The singer piano player.
Alicia Keys.
Alicia Keys. She's an upgradable 6. Perfect example.
Now you got to realize, BGS, you have kind of high standards.
No,
most people wouldn't agree with that.
Look at Alicia Keys without her makeup on.
They would say like 7 even without makeup.
No, Alicia Keys is an upgradable 6. She you know, Alicia Keys. If you look at Alicia Keys without the hair done and the makeup done and stuff like that, with the freckles and all that kind of stuff, before she puts on her stuff. Now, Alicia Keys is spectacular when she's all glossed up. You put the makeup on her, you fly her hair out. Alicia Keys looks like a runway model, okay? But you take all that stuff off, she's an upgradable 6. She's the epitome of an upgradable 6.
What would you give like Kelly Rowland?
To me, Kelly Rowland's a 7. You know, but you know,
okay.
Even though people disagree, well, people can disagree, but she's a 7.
So what do y'all?
I see 8 are like less than 10% of the population. I see tons of Kelly Rowlands rolling around, man. She's not there. She's not there.
So I don't want to make this a debate about that.
No. You can say it. You can say it, man. But
I just want to get your quick number.
You from LA, man. There's tons of Kelly Rowlands rolling around.
No. But real quick point.
Okay.
I've seen Kelly Rowland in person.
Mm-hmm.
When you see her in person, it's totally different from when you see her on TV. Like when you see her in person, it's like she has a presence, man. Like
that's not what we're talking
that's
about.
What I'm talking about.
I get that. I don't.
Super Chris, calm down, man. Presence. There's chicks that are 4s that have presence.
I'm talking about physically. Her presence. She draws you in. She is gorgeous.
I get that. I get that, but that's getting away from what we're talking about. Aisha Curry. Aisha Curry doesn't have a presence, so we understand that. The purpose of me asking that. No, I hear you. I'm just saying the purpose of me asking that was so everybody knows what Kelly Rowland looks like. So I just want to know: are you saying she? Because technically Kevin disagrees with BGS too. Kevin says that she's an 8. So it ain't that we making you wrong.
Well, I mean, people have their preference, but you know, you asked me what I thought of her. She's a 7.
Exactly. So I'm getting Gabe and from you, Super Triz. Like, what do you give her? You're not wrong with your number. I'm just asking.
I mean,
Super Triz, you can go first.
And basically, my baby mama, she's about right around that range, 7+, and she's darker than Kelly Rowland. So you know, but she's got hips and tits, where Kelly Rowland doesn't have all that stuff. But you know,
Kelly Rowland got hips and tits. That's true.
Yeah, she's thin. She's got a fairly cute. She's got a cute face.
I'm saying this again because
but Kelly Rowland's not a supermodel. Okay.
Yeah, I like Kelly Rowland.
Yeah, I say 8.
Okay, 8. Super Triz, what's your number
for Kelly Rowland?
Yeah,
8. 8.
Okay, so we got an 8. And did y'all agree with BGS on Alicia Keys with no makeup?
Yes.
I haven't
Okay.
really paid attention to Alicia Keys like
I
that.
literally just Googled as he was talking about her. I'm like, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I used to be a photographer, so I know what an upgradable is, and I've seen chicks before the makeup and after makeup. I can actually look at a chick and tell whether she can be upgradable or not just by her cheekbones and her eyes. So I can look at.
I didn't know BJ was a photographer. That's some exclusive.
I was there when I was young. That's why I know what an upgrade. That's why I came up with the term upgradable, because I've seen them. I've
He
seen
said,
them.
"You a strawberry, but you upgradable. Come here, I get some cheap pictures out of
you. You have some fine strawberries out there if you get them before they decimate themselves.
Yeah, man, because I seen some chicks that they look good, and they got so many tattoos, and they let that thoughtism like them look like they crack whores. But I can show you some before and afters. Okay, so Kelly Rowland, we'll lump her like a 7.5. I think that's pretty consistent. Ain't nobody like have off rate. It was 7. By the way, is this reflective of the high earners game? That these women reflective of the looks of the dudes that are in your orbit that are high earners have?
Like a Kelly Rowland?
Kelly Rowland, Alicia Keys type, because a lot of the lighter skin angle, like looks wise, or are they less attractive than that? That's really what my main question is.
Less than Kelly Rowland. Not too far less, but I would say less.
Right in that range between between an 8 at the top end, I would say 6 at the bottom end for guys that are professional. I would say
that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to find somebody that's reflective of like where, because here's the thing: when people say, let's be clear here, nobody's getting ugly bitches. So, and nobody's getting what they would consider average
5.
women.
True.
You ain't true. Like the chick that was the woman that Kevin interviewed. They just didn't like what she said, but basically, like he said, you're a 5 with makeup on. You're 5 with makeup on, and plus she didn't have anything else to go along with it. In other words, first thing you hear her speak, and you know that she's not sophisticated, right? You hear her speak. Second thing is he asked her, "Did you go to college?" No. Okay, that means you're an 87, baby. You're a 5 that's an 87 that's 35 years old with a 13-year-old kid.
Well, I'm not going to get, because that dude was saying some crazy shit. Shout out to Soul Provider. He said some shit like, I was horrified when Kevin said that. I mean, she's actually, she's not average at all.
She is. Come on, dude. That's dude's caping. In fact, I was looking at this one dude, man. He was saying the same thing. And his chick is an 8 sitting right next to him. I said, you didn't marry a 5. How come you didn't marry a 5 if that's so horrible? That chick,
would you say this is reflective? Mm-mm. This is the chick that is this reflective of the chicks, like this looks range?
She's about Roxy's about a 6 without her makeup on, and the thing is she's athletic, so she's in a slightly
well, so I'm saying, are they less attractive than this, Gabe?
That's about right.
Around there, I would say more than this.
Okay, so we got our floor. No, we got our floor. That's what I want to get, because this is a woman that is definitely maximized.
She's a 6.
And she has a presence about her too. You actually listen to her talk.
She's a little strong.
She's a bodybuilder.
Well, yeah, I get that. I would challenge you. Go look at the video O'Shea just did with her, and that way you get the personality to it. And I promise you that. Okay.
She would appeal more to white guys than she would with the black guys.
But real quick, I think we have to clarify.
We got our floor.
Clarify the fact.
Yeah, that's floor. That's the floor. If she's about a 6, that's about a floor. That's probably what you see I say between a 6 and an 8, because most dudes, unless you walking around with millions. Okay, I mean, do mean millions. You don't want a 9 or a 10, because that's a headache, and most dudes know that.
Well, just to clarify though, we have to bear in mind that when we talk about 5s, 5 is average. It doesn't average. That's not necessarily a bad thing. People think that you say 5 and it's like, oh my gosh, but 5 is just like run of the mill average.
Yeah,
and 5 is still attractive enough for a man to be sexually aroused. It's not like you're not talking about the negatives. Just consistently, because
every man has a floor.
Aroused enough that's where the problem comes in.
Every man has a floor, and the thing is trying to find out where the man's floor is. This is what I usually ask: where's your floor? If you can get a 10 that's cooperative, I could tell everybody 100,000 dudes, 150,000 dudes, or a guy with means. and he can get a fine of 10 that's cooperative, trust and believe he gonna wife her up with a heartbeat.
Yeah, I think that cooperation is underrated because not a lot of people talk about it. They just talk about the way that she looks, how her physical, her age, and everything. But that cooperation will very
because you can't measure cooperation, especially on a video.
But in the manosphere, it's been our main complaint. It's our main complaint. It's our main because I've said it over and over. Black men, look, it's unrealistic to think that you're gonna get black women to submit as a group. That's not realistic. It's just not. The cooperation thing, though, we can hold the line on, and that's where they're failing too.
Yeah, that's why for most guys, well, for any guys, I say an upgradable 7 is probably the best one to have as a wife.
Yeah, and we were asked. I remember a woman asked us. I think it was Irene Yvette. She asked all of it was on your show, on the woman show, where we were asked. It was a whole bunch of dudes that were asked, like, what are the top 3 things they look at, and we were all pretty much unison. And cooperation was in there. Looks was in there, but looks is like, again, every dude has a floor when it comes to looks, and then it's the other stuff above it. And what's happening is people are taking the nuance, and what they're doing is they're trying to make it mean everything so they can fit it in for the delusion of so they can keep getting money. And my thing is, I titled this video, "Women Will Die Alone Because of Karazine." Women like Karazine, because women like Karazine is doing the same thing to the black churches. The truth is, Karazine cannot. First of all, that white dude was talking about white culture. So once he started to jump into black culture, you could tell where that, like, his ignorance really showed.
Did he show a picture of his wife?
Hell no.
Well, and then you can't go by somebody that doesn't show at least a picture of what his wife is at least a representative of what his wife looks like.
Yeah, and even Donovan, when he says Devin, like he talks about Devin. Devin is attractive, but he don't try to act like Devin's an 8-9er. He doesn't say that, but he gets cooperation from her. So we all know that they try to pretend like they, because they're trying to pay us to be this like, oh, y'all want Instagram. That's something that women are starting to constantly talk about. First of all, no, that's something to look at, but dudes have demonstrated to you that they're, for the most part, they're not marrying Instagram thoughts. They're fucking them and throwing them away. Even in, you look at the famous sectors, you're seeing that. It's only like Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg, all of them. But see, when you say average women, see, women, no woman believes she's average. So average in the mind of a woman is, oh, I could be ugly or kind of below average. Another thing too I want to point out with with Roxy is definitely, when you look at her face and you look at, like, there's no acne and all of this, and then when you listen to her and her personality, that's not average. So even if they may be average in looks, they're above average in other things. And we're trying to pretend like black women, and quite frankly, American women in general, even adding Tomi Lahren into this, are in the things that men look for above average. Tomi Lahren is an attractive white woman, but Tomi Lahren, well, I get it. I can understand why white men would like her. That's what I'm saying. Like, that is.
There's a difference between dudes that are successful and dudes that are elite. Okay.
That's another thing. And
dudes that are elite, that are actually elite, I call those the baller class, basically $1 million a year plus at bare minimum. Okay. Those are the 9s and the 10s. Okay. That's where the 9s and 10s normally go if they can get them.
Sub-Xanatos clutch. And my thing is, these white boys.
If he says he gets the 9 and the 10, but the thing is, you got to show receipts. The 9s and 10s are, a 9 is like 1 out of every 100. Okay, if you get up to the 10 level, you talk about 1 in 1,000. There ain't that many of those around. Okay, and those get picked up immediately.
Yeah,
I don't really take.
Rare than that.
I think it's more rare than that.
Now that's about right. 1 in 1,000. If not, man, we talk about like I said, the 10. That would be the like the epitome of like 1 in a million. I think there's more 10s around than that. I hope.
I think 10s. I did a stream with Shango. Matter of fact, we went in depth, and I was saying that 10s are actually like probably about 1 in every 300,000. Same with 1s. Like you start going back towards the other.
That's probably true.
Yeah. The same thing.
Yeah.
It's like there's so many 1s. Most 1s die.
Yeah.
And genetic anomaly or something like that.
Yeah.
And the thing that other people don't understand about the show too, it's not required that everybody come up. See, again, a lot of people are talking from ignorance. So it's not like you're reading it based on how they look and saying, because it's not. It was just crazy. He was like, "Yeah, man, you're insecure." So like, she basically went and got a white dude to basically do her dirty work. And this is a dude that she even said, "Oh yeah, you know, you always respond when I text you and da 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 da." I was like, "Okay, but you're a millionaire businessman," which is again further what Jason Black said. Her husband's a cop. This is why she didn't disagree with that when he said that. She just tried to act like he didn't say it, you know. So now it's not just other men; it's white. Like for real. I mean, your woman is way too doing what the fuck she wants to do. You know, I get that, you know, Karis has a YouTube channel, but goddamn, she's way too comfortable around other men, and it ain't trust. It's at that point, like. Basically, and this is another thing to speak. Karazine couldn't have had a black dude because a lot of these niggas are not gonna send for her like that at the level that she wants. Like they're not gonna deal with that. Like, and so, and another thing,
you know what? Like I said, my fiance came from the same area. Sounds like Karazine. She was much better looking, and I know how these broads think. Half the stuff coming out of Karazine's mouth. Don't even believe, man. Don't believe that shit. I can tell you that. Don't believe that shit. Don't believe that shit, man. She got the dude that she got was struggling when she got him. All right, she helped him out. She struggled. He was struggling when she got him.
She did what you said. Yeah. That's the thing. That what you said in the video. And Karazine, look, man, I know people be like, "Oh, how can you say that in the manosphere?" What would you rate? What would you rate Karazine?
I would say Karazine she's around a 6, man.
Okay, yeah. I would. Do we all concur?
Yeah, she's about a 6.
Okay, so basically, but she did what you. But she said what you said. She did what you said. And see, this is. Well, hold on. I want to say this real quick. What kills me about this is she isn't giving the advice based on what she fucking did. As a woman, there was a single mother. Go ahead.
If Karazine was an 8, 9, or 10, her original baby's daddy would have married her. A heartbeat.
And the thing is, she did, like, when you look at her own life, and the thing is too, is none of these women, all this fake outrage that all these females are giving, none of them did the video you did with actually giving tangible advice. Karazine actually said, "Oh, call me. You're just gonna get her to call you so she can bash Kevin. That's it." But the truth, and fine, and you're not going to actually give her advice. I'm going to tell you that right now. But I will say this: if you all really wanted to do something, why don't y'all have an open line and say any woman that listens to Kevin that agrees with Kevin, call up. Y'all ain't gonna do that because y'all don't want to be seen as arguing with other women.
You know, like I said, you know what I say. When you work in the industry, you know, when I work with where I used to work, and you meet, you know, like I said, you personally know thousands of black women. I mean, thousands of them, right? And you from different grades, from a dime all the way down to not a 1 but a 3. Okay, you hear them talk. Okay, you know what they think. You know how they react. You know who they are. But basically, I listen to the chick talk. With what listen to the whole interview, I assessed her as a chick that's a 5, that's an 87, that's 35 years old. The fact that who she was attracting, that she was dating. Kevin asked you, have you ever dated a high value man, a man that makes what you want to make? No, you haven't. Why? Because those guys aren't picking you. Okay?
And Jason asked this. I've heard Jason Black ask the same question. What is the multiple times? I'm not saying that's where he got it from, but I've heard it. He said, "What is the highest income earner that you have dated?" AK really code for had sex with, but dated. Because if you ain't got if you haven't gotten a proposal, and this is why Kevin will ask, you know, ask what was the experience in the proposal. And a lot of these women are not used to that question, because that's only a question somebody would know to ask because I wouldn't know to ask that question. And he's asking it because he knows because there's certain things in his background with the image consultant stuff that he went back. See, man, there's the thing that I can't really say that Kevin wouldn't want that kind of out there like that. But what you was said on your channel a long time ago, and this would actually kill a lot of that shit as far as how much Kevin actually really knows like how women thinking about women. But then they would make it about that, you know, the same way they've attacked other YouTubers like Tariq in the past on shit like that. And that's as close I'll get to that. But my point is, Kevin knows a lot more than what he's letting on. About and so you all responding to what he's saying at face value. And another point I need to make too, what kills me about Karazine most of all is if Kevin wanted to be an asshole, Kevin would just produce the clip in which you called the clip where you call into his show, so you can't get it timed out, is what you said, and then link the video to this video that you just did. And you would seem like you were two-faced as fuck, because some of the same shit she told that white dude was the same shit. You're so responsive and you're protective, and that's why I rolled my eyes to the point where I couldn't see anymore when I heard that, because that's a line she gives. That's not like, that's some shit she says to a lot of dudes when she wants something from them, and that's the only reason why she was calling Kevin, is because she saw the trajectory Kevin was going to. And to go back, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No. I
was gonna say this, but go back to what you said. Karazine, I've never heard her give the advice that what you said, and that's the advice of her life. That dude she got was not making the money that he's making now. She was making more.
Yes.
Anyway, go ahead.
In fact, I do believe he was unemployed at the time. So, he was in between jobs, but he was educated. He came from a good family. He had potential, so she took him on. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that went on, how they got married, and all that kind of crap. Because she got pregnant by him too before the kid, but all kinds of shit. But anyway,
I think one of the issues is that when you start asking women about their experiences they've had with guys that make a certain income, a lot of these women are unable to recognize a guy who makes this level of income, because they're so conditioned to think that when you make a certain amount of money, this is how you look. This is the kind of car you drive. This is the kind of clothes you wear.
Well, I'll tell you, and then I'll ask a few questions, see if Gabe agrees. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Number one, it's one thing before you make the money. Okay.
Yeah.
Is you're looking for, anytime you're dealing with a woman, especially on any level, and you want to be serious, you want to make sure the woman likes you for you. Number one, right?
Yeah.
And if you're broke, if you're a struggling student and stuff like that, you just start that career, she ain't got no choice but like you for who you are, right? You ain't got shit, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But if you acquire some things, and I've talked to many, many guys, because I know a few millionaires, you acquire some things, right? And you do have the outward, the outward looks of success, right? You want to make sure that you're not a mark.
Yes. Yeah.
And so a lot of dudes, and Gabe may not. Well, you probably married though, Gabe, right?
Yeah, I'm married.
Okay. Most dudes in your circle will tell you if they're dating, okay, like Rom says, you got two cars. You got the nice one that when you're doing appointments and you need to pick somebody up, or you're trying to have meetings in, and then you got the one for the first date.
Yeah. And
the first date is the one that my advisor at the time, when I was doing stocks and commodities, right? He lived in San Diego. He lived in a $3 million house, and he had two houses. He had the one in San Diego. He had the one that had the condo in Orange County. The one in San Diego had the big Benz and out in front in the driveway, and the condo in Orange County was like a 2-bedroom condo, and he's got a little mid-sized Toyota parked out front, and a compact Toyota parked out front. That's the first date. In other words, first date, he meets a woman, picks her up in a Toyota, he takes her to the condo till he actually feels her out, and then if she passes the shit test, then he'll upgrade her. And a lot of guys do that.
Yeah, I was going to add to that a bit too, because I think something that my friend group did, or like my peer group did, and I don't know if this is unique and whatnot. It kind of reminds me of how Kevin talks about that that network of individuals, whether male or female, right? People who have grown up together, have known each other, are friends. Typically, if we're interested in somebody, we'll use other female friends to be able to evaluate her, right? Because we know that our female friends will give us the right information. That's exactly what I did with my wife. And I mean, my friend gave me very valuable information that allowed me to make a more informed decision.
You got to be vetted. Yeah,
absolutely.
Which is why, which is
why she didn't know she was being vetted though. That was the major thing. She thought she just had another friend.
All women know they're being vetted. Okay, they all know they're being vetted. when they get in. If they're gonna get into a certain circle, they know they have to be vetted by the other women.
Mm.
They already know that. That's which is why they get into a circle of female friends in the first place. If you want to move up, I always tell, because people, I think I've had many women ask me, how do you move up from being an 87 into a 92? I'll say, or get a guy that's in the 92 range. I say, first you got to get some female friends that are 92s and qualified to be in their circle.
Yeah.
So that you can be vetted, and then once you're vetted as, you know, if a man can see that, okay, if my female friends accept her in their circle, that means she meets a certain qualifications.
Absolutely.
And that's why you know, that's why the Octane book is valuable, is because of that grouping. Okay.
Yeah.
Because certain women in certain classes are going to have certain characteristics. And so for Gabe knows that if he's a professional, and the women around him are professional, there's certain characteristics going to go with that particular woman. That's how come that woman that was interviewed by Kevin is not a right fit for somebody like Gabe. Okay, she's not educated. She doesn't really speak well. You know, if she was 8 or 9, you know, if she was 7, 8, or 9, I would say 8 or 9. Okay, then her looks got to overcome some of that. Okay,
but it's also important, right? Because to have something beyond just that of looks, like social, like you were saying, with like the network, the social circle, because there needs to be something more, right?
In other words, if you're at 87 without the stats behind you, and you want to jump class, you better be a bad bitch. Because you need something to override all your shortcomings. And beauty was one thing that, you might not get every dude in that class, but the thing is, some dude in that class is going to take you because you're bad, because you're 8, 9, or 10. Okay, if you're Kelly Rowland, or take Kelly Rowland. Okay, she could be average chick, but thing is that some dude in the upper class will take her because of the way she looks, because of her beauty. Something that she won't get every dude, but she has a chance to get a dude. But if you're a 5 and you're an 87, okay, that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be rough. Okay, that's gonna be rough for you. And that's what I've said is, so it'd be better to get, okay, say Gabe wasn't where he was, but Gabe is smart, right? Say Gabe is smart. He may have a bachelor's, but he's kind of frumping around. Then a chick like her will say, you know what, I'm making 100 G's. Come on, Gabe. I see the potential and invest in the dude. And then, like I say, Gabe will make 100,000. You know, like a year and a half later, 200,000, 3 years later, and then you have your dude. Okay, but the thing is, you ain't gonna get a Gabe at 35 after Gabe's already made his money.
No, not at all. And I don't want to even make like my situation is very unique. One thing we see a lot of times in this space is that there are a lot of brothers doing very well that have a lot of these same experiences. Yeah. And even like another piece of or idea that I've experienced is that they'll know, like, there's women who might be more higher in that looks category that know that they don't want to necessarily settle down yet. So they'll stay in contact with me, or they'll stay in contact with brothers who they know who have potential. Yeah. In the hopes of that when they're done, then they got them there.
Oh, basically, you know, because I'm talking to a brother a couple of brothers that are in that range where they're getting ready to pop, and there's certain chicks who will stay in contact with them just in case he pops.
Yeah. Shout out to Roger Report. And then if you want to show up, you come.
And I got to bounce in about 5 minutes because I got to talk to somebody. But I'm saying, you know, because I've been around dudes like this, and I'm a geek. I was a STEM geek in college, and I know a bunch of guys like this. And basically, you guys all tell me the same story. So basically, that's what I say. Class does matter, because one of the chicks got to be, you know,
Roxy said that too. She agreed with that. She said a lot of these guys can sniff these chicks out really quickly. Like, and that's another thing that's not talked about. And she was talking specifically to swirlers. Yeah.
I could tell you that chick that was on with Kevin. Okay. Her first, I would say the first 3 minutes I'm just using you as an example, Gabe. I hope you don't mind.
Sure.
Okay,
so no problem.
Okay, because you're here. What I'm saying is, her first 5 minutes talking to Gabe would get turned off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just talking to, regardless of what she looks like. regardless of what she looked like. The first 5 minutes of hearing her speak, Gabe would turn down. Like, if he decides I want to, do a midnight run because I'm horny or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, he might do that, but thing is, he ain't gonna bring her back because she don't fit. Yeah.
Well,
And I don't think that my experience is unique too, right?
Gabe,
Because brothers, like even in the chat, right? Like Mike V or even Super Triz, who are in higher type of earning or desire more from a relationship than just by the way someone looks. I think that's we
but
will
here's the problem, Gabe. People like you or Mike V or anybody that would be in that level, you see that concept. And shout out to Roger for the $5. Shout out to Cap Sis over $5. This is what they're being told by women like Karazine. They're being told three things: colorism. They're colorist, that you're colorist, that you're socially awkward. So you don't know what a good woman is if it smacks you in the face. And then you're being told, what's the third one? Basically, all these things are coming back to it's not about her. It's not about her. It's you're the problem.
Basically, okay, let's be fucking honest, right? Especially in 92s and 100 octane dudes, basically, there's a colorism hierarchy. There just is. Okay, the masters of the universe wants that good haired, light skinned chick that's a pinup. Okay, because if he's making close to $1 million, that's what he's gonna want. If you got the personality, all that kind of stuff, that's what he wants. Okay, there's gonna be a hierarchy. Okay, and it's gonna flow down. It is what it is. Okay, so that's not bullshit. Now below that, there isn't one. I would say 89s and below, the regular dudes, they don't give a fuck. Okay, what color you are, a colorism. But the thing is, amongst that hierarchy, the AK. That's why we call them the AKA types. The AKA types are going to get picked first in that hierarchy. That's just facts. Okay,
and it's like nothing. These white boys can't change that.
If the AKAs with the light skin, the light eyes, and the 3C hair, they're gonna get picked first. Right. They gonna get the pick first, and everybody else pick second. That's just the way it is. Okay.
And these white boys can't change that. And the last thing I wanted to say before you hop off, BGS, is this idea of everybody talking. Like she even said it, which is funny because I'm like, bitch, you called in. You called into his show and you said you listened to it for 3 weeks, but you want to say, well, I'm befuddled as far as white people call the show, and everybody is low self-esteem, and it's like as if these chicks are not listening to other people for the same reason. So you must have high self-esteem to listen to Derek Jackson, apparently. But my point is, I wanted you to speak to that bullshit as far as why because my thing is they're calling Kevin because these other people have failed, but why are these women calling in? Because you notice how they never want to ask these women to call in and support Kevin. Do you really think it's 3,500 people listening to Kevin that disagree with him?
They might even disagree with him. But the thing is that one thing they know, and chicks will, even when they get on, they'll lie about it. Women know where the pecking order is in the hierarchy. They know where it is. And basically, now they'll go to a Karazine or a Chrissy or that kind of stuff when they're drinking and they need some kind of reassurance. They need to feel good, right? They'll go to them. But the thing is, when they get out on the street, they have to go out and compete and get that dude. They can't listen to Chrissy. They can't listen to Karazine because she don't know what the hell she's talking about. They have to go to Kevin because Kevin's going to tell them the truth. Look,
I asked Nerd this. I mean, cut your Nerd this. I asked her, women know where the truth is when they want it. True or false? And she said true.
True. They do. And, because I got 2 daughters. I got 2 adult daughters, and I can tell you when they get 10, 11, 12, they hit the street, put on their little tight clothes to figure out where they fit in the hierarchy. They already know. So a woman that's 35 years old that tells me that she doesn't know where she fits in hierarchy. Yeah. She's bullshit. One thing I'll give the homegirl credit for, I know she came on there to get dressed up so that hopefully she can actually land a gay bae on the cheek. Okay, that's what she was hoping for. That gay bae, she kind of cute. I might give her a holler. That's what she's hoping for.
That's why she said my body though, because she already know her body is what's going.
And she's hoping that something will actually. That she has other assets that will actually entice her. But if you're a size 3, you ain't got that much body, baby. You're 3. You're size 3. You're on the slim side, okay? But
It's hilarious.
But at least she was honest about where she fit as about his look. She knows where she fits. Okay, there's a couple things that she said. I'm a 5. I've been dating these dudes, and I've been dating the dudes, and I've been trying to pull them up. That means she does have ambition. That's one good thing about her that she can have, right? If you want, if she looked better, then if she was educated, she'd be a 92. The thing is, if you have that kind of ambition, how come you didn't take your ass to school? You're trying to pull a dude up and talk about a dude's ambition, and you have it, but you're not improving yourself as far as going back to school and fitting in with the crowd that you say you want to. That's the first thing I would tell her. Okay, how come you don't go back and get a bullshit bachelor's, at least a bullshit bachelor's, to actually fit in with the crowd that you want to fit in? Okay, it's number one. Learn how to speak to these. I can tell you ain't been in circles because you don't know how to speak with these people. Some women would not allow you to be around them. They party with you maybe at a club, but the thing is you can't be in their circle. Okay, so you don't even fit. So first thing you have to do is learn how to fit. Okay, improve. Go to school and at least improve your diction so that you can actually fit in with that crowd. Number two, so basically, you got to understand that you're a working class girl. You're 5, and you got to invest. Okay, you're 35. You got to invest. You're not gonna walk in and get a 6-figure dude just like that because you don't have anything that he wants. That's what Kevin was trying to tell her.
And here's the funny thing. Mm-hmm. Kevin is actually doing a lot of the market a service because all these dudes like Marquette, oh my God, Saints and Sinners, Karazine, Yanni, all these motherfuckers. This stuff has been talked about, and you all could easily say, would Kevin Samuels do a video? What Kevin Samuels did not say that he should have said about how to get a high value man, and literally carbon copy what you said, BGS. And shit, fucking Karazine, if she wanted to be real and not be fake, could tell. But see, she wants to make it sound like she wants to sell the fantasy that this white dude saved her. That's really what she wants to sell. But she knows, and people that's probably long-time listeners knows what the background of that is, going back to the SWP days. But the point is, this is where she could tell them, this is what you all are going to have to do. And it's nothing wrong with that.
No.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. Like this idea, see, first of all, if you're somebody that you can't believe that you're, like, if a dude was telling me I'm 5'5", and I've been told I have good looking, this is what women, so I know what women actually like about me and everything I like about me. But if I would be stupid if I was on this high horse saying, well, I should be able to get attractive women. Like the woman that I put up there, like the woman, the other woman that she got me, but the last one, that's actually the kind of look that I tend to go for. It in the range. I can go for a variety of different looks, but in the range, if you all want a center of gravity of what I'm looking at, that is an attractive woman to me. So this idea, but she looks better than what Kevin called in. But my point is, when people say you can be average, to some people she's average. But the thing is, so when people say that means different things to different people. So you'll be having people believe that you could be below average or not attractive.
Yeah.
And by the way, the average black chick is overweight too, which is another thing. So when they say that, and I talk about anyway, long story short, the truth is, if they were telling these women the truth, that they would do better if they invested in themselves first, and then invest in the dudes that they deal with. And yes, it is a risk. It is a risk that he leave your ass for a white girl. You damn right, that's a risk. That's gonna be a risk you'll have to be willing to take.
Everybody takes a risk, man.
If dudes take that risk,
if you get married, even though I know guys, that guys that make that.
Get the lights up.
We have masters. Some have PhDs and stuff like that. That get to be like in their 40s and they're making $150,000-$200,000, and the wife decides, you know what, I'm done with this, and they bail and they take
divorce.
It's a reality.
It's a reality. That's just the risk that you take.
Absolutely.
Here's the lie that Karazine basically goes against her own word when she tells the truth and then deletes the video. Here's a lie that these women tell, and then I'll let you go, BGS.
Okay.
The lie that they tell is that you don't have to be vulnerable to get what you want as a woman. And that's what they are fucking lying to you. And just like the black church, they're gonna make it so your ass is going down low. And here's what's worse. you'll die alone giving them your fucking money. On some Scientology shit.
Well, black women don't have much time because the bloom is coming off the rose, and trust and believe, man. If you talk to Mike V, there's too many chicks out there competing for the same dude, and it is what it is. And they don't basically. And these women don't care what color the chair is.
And not 80 those black women ain't this fucking stupid either.
Well,
they own family will bring them back to reality.
They're raised differently, and they look for different things. Yeah. So it's a different thing. But I got to bounce.
All right, appreciate it.
To you. Well, I'm glad Gabe backed me up on what I was saying.
No worries. Usually I'm just in the chat making jokes, but
I thought I'd come up and mad at Gabe. Like, that nigga trolling. I don't know what the fuck you be doing on other channels. Gabe got his enemies too.
No, well, Gabe has earned some enemies, so it is what it is.
Apparently. I'm gonna turn over a new leaf, right? This conversation has really made me turn over a new leaf. So I'll try to take away those enemies. Make those enemies free.
I don't give a fuck with
the thing is that the thing is that and Rams told me is that I probably give better advice than most of the dating coaches out here. And basically I try to coach because I come from the sports world. I try to coach people like I would coach an athlete. You basically take what you have, and I think I put that in the video. Take what you have, what your natural abilities are, and we try to maximize it. We're not trying to make you do something or be something that you cannot be, or outside your personality or what your physical attributes are. Take what you have, maximize it, and then try to get you to the highest results that we can get you. You're not gonna be the GOAT. Okay, it's not gonna happen. Okay, if you're 6'1", you ain't gonna be the GOAT. Okay, it's not gonna happen. Okay, but things maybe we can get you to an all-star game. If that's your top level, hey,
I'll take that.
Oh Lord, somebody just sent me a Facebook of her Facebook page.
Who Facebook? Who?
This chick, the chick that called in.
That one.
I'll email it to people.
Okay,
it's not bad. It's not like
I mean, she's not a bad person. It's just she just walked in on the wrong night, and she came in on the night that she wasn't supposed to be asking for advice, and then she wanted to be kind of obstinate. And Kevin, if you're a content creator, some days you just get tired. Okay.
Yeah, and that's another thing they were trying to say, and you can hop off, feel free to hop off, but they were trying to say, well, when you're on radio, first it's not fucking radio's YouTube, sir. Just like Netflix isn't cable television. It's different. So he's like, we on radio, you just don't get mad like that. That's bullshit. Tommy Soto, a lot of people, man, even Howard Stern. Like, get the fuck. Like, the thing that killed me, and if I was talking to him, I'd say, look, sir, with all due respect, you are a white man. You are commenting not on interracial relationships, which is white men that date black women, which I would ask you to produce that shit because I probably think you probably can't, maybe more than one. And two, because they ain't out here like that based on stats. And number two, you don't know shit about black relationships. And Karazine knows a lot more than she wants to admit. The other thing I would say, sir, is there are certain things that inherent culture. For example, culturally, white people love to play what I call coy bullshit, but we'll call it Cold War shit, in which you all are very passive aggressive about things, meaning you all are never going to be extremely candid about certain things because you all don't want to be put in a certain box. I'm racist, I'm prejudiced, I'm misogynist. This is true for the men, and even the women. They don't want to get what happened. And shout out to Benevolence for Technologies making hypergamy normal. They don't want to get what happened with Tommy Lauren, where the men check your ass, the men in which the market that you're trying to deal with checks you. So women don't tell that kind of truth like that. You know what I'm saying? So this is a cultural thing. I'm gonna say other groups don't do it, but white people in America especially have a unique culture about that. This is why I talk about things like candor, and you got to read between the lines and how you deal with them and engage them. And this is how they engage each other. That is a white thing. Not saying that other people don't do it, but that is a white thing. Is how it uniquely, how it's kind of done the way I'm describing it. So even in how he was talking, like, it's like, dude, you got to read between lines what you're talking about. So when you're trying to assess a black man and how a black man is assessing a black woman, the truth is you can't make that assessment because you don't fucking know. You're there in order to just be a fucking puppet for Karazine to say, look at me, I got a white dude that's not a bottom shelf brat or a weirdo that is a millionaire.
She probably sent the questions beforehand and had a little prep call.
Karazine, and the thing about it is that
professional life.
And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be mean, but Karazine is a very two-faced woman. I point to you the example. I've seen many examples of this, but I point to you example of how I can literally, if I want to be an asshole, I would literally play that call that she called with Kevin, and then you turn around and then you play what she said, literally introducing this dude. A lot of it is similar wording, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's like, you called this dude. And then when you understand how Jason Black treated you, which was deserved, Kevin treated you like with respect, and then you went in and snaked him, but you want to say he the issue. So and here's the thing. Here's another funny thing. When the Vegator did that shit to her, like that's where that crying meme came from. And he didn't do it like Kevin, but he was like, it was the words he was using, not so much the tone behind it. But she lost her mind and she did not react the same way. Hell, that woman took that shit a lot more than Karazine did. So it's like,
look for a reason or particular content that allows them to ride the wave without agreeing with the wave, right? Because it's like Kevin has a narrative. Others that don't agree with him, but they still want to monetize off of his message, they have to provide a counter narrative. So you provide this counter narrative that gets people thinking,
that's true.
So that allows them to have more longevity of content.
And they should.
Keep on riding.
There's a right way to do it, a wrong way to do it. And obviously that's my opinion. But what I will say is the algorithm allows for what you're talking about. Like the algorithm, if you do a live stream and it wants you to do that. Yeah. But my thing is in my opinion, the way you do that is like BGS broke that down. You could say you disagree with him and Kevin don't know what he's talking about. This is what I would have told her and blah, 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 blah. The problem, though, is she said in that commentary is that she said she can't submit to a man that is making less than her. Now, keep in mind, she's been making her 6 figures for 100,000. And I'm going to tell you, if I'm not an expert on dating or relationships, I'm just a nigga. But what I would say, let's say she was in my orbit and that was a thing that was asked to me and I gave a fuck about her.
Yeah,
I could show her women in North Carolina that makes a hell of a lot more money than she does, hell of a lot more, and that have husbands that make less. They look a hell of a lot better than she does. Like I can produce quite a few women that the dudes that they have, they're mortgage brokers. I mean, they make 6 figures, but because of the nature of what they do, their income elevated. So what it is they do it as a family, while he still does his like mortgage brokery business, or he does X, Y, and Z or real estate and stuff. So it's not it's not like he leads her with money. They all bring the same stuff to the table, but because of religion or because of whatever, because of culture, they still know what their roles are as women. Because again,
that's the thing, right? I don't think she was looking at that combined effect. She was more looking at her revenue
what
or
she
her
can
income
get
versus his, rather than, hey, this is what it will look like with both of us.
Go ahead.
Can I use an analogy real quick? So of course I'm in the medical industry, healthcare field. You have, let's say for instance, you have a general surgery, right? Say for instance, you need to have your appendix removed. In that general surgery, you'll have at least 2 physicians. You'll have the surgeon himself, the general surgeon, and then you'll have an anesthesiologist. That anesthesiologist, I guarantee you, makes significantly more than a general surgeon.
Yep.
I'll take it a step further. Let's say that the person that's providing anesthesia services
is a nurse anesthetist.
Called a CRNI, a certified registered nurse, a CRNA, a certified registered nurse anesthetist, right? That person, as a nurse, this is a registered nurse, makes significantly more than that general surgeon. I know anesthetists that make $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 a year.
My wife is in school right now for finishing up her CRNA.
So you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
Right? So now you have the physician, the surgeon is at the helm. He's the leader.
Yeah, they're saying your volume's low, Super Triz.
Yeah, I'm on my iPad. My bad. Yeah, I'm working out right now. The surgeon is at the helm, right? And he's calling the shots. He's leading the surgery. The anesthetist still makes more money, but the anesthetist defers to the general surgeon.
Yep.
So
I didn't know that.
The whole concept of somehow your money has a bearing on your role. The amount of money you make doesn't allow you to have a change in the roles. Your role as a man is still the same in that household, regardless of how much money you make.
I actually recommend nurses because, like, female nurses because they just part of their job.
Shit, nurses, most of them I know are hoes. But go ahead.
My wife is a nurse. She's a nurse. She's in school for nursing anesthesia.
I said most.
Now. Well, I'm just.
You said anesthesia. Well, there's different type. Okay, to clean it up, there's different type of nurses. There's different type of nurses. All right. So
you talking about CNA or nursing assistant?
I told y'all know shit about medical. So
it's all good. Yeah.
The ones that just take the fucking blood. What's that job they call? They be trying like they doing something special. Like, bitch, you draw blood. Shut up. Like don't try to clean that shit up. But I'm a But anyway,
my mom was a nurse too, man. I don't know.
I mean, there's a lot of different kinds of nurses. So maybe it's one particular version of them that are hoes, but there's one part of the profession. Yeah, I know you don't got to say which one, but I know I'm talking about.
Well, there's only two specific. When you say nurses, there's a licensed vocational or licensed practical nurse, and then there's registered nurses. The CNA is not.
What about traveling nurses?
Those are
can be
either LVN or RN. Those are still LVNs or RNs, right? A CNA is not a nurse; it's a nurse assistant, right? A phlebotomist that draws blood is technically not part of nursing at all. Phlebotomy is either part of laboratory services, in some cases, part of medical services. Yep. It's an entirely different field. Respiratory therapy is not part of nursing. I mean, they're all respected. They're all necessary fields within the healthcare continuum, but they're not specifically nursing. Yeah. Just like nursing is technically not medical. Nursing is technically healthcare. Medicine, nursing, physical therapy, these are all entirely different disciplines, totally. But they just all work under the healthcare umbrella. So I just want to clear that up.
Absolutely, man. And I'm glad
you get into like those advanced practice nurses like CRNAs and MPs and maybe nursing supervisors. So those are kind of.
I don't know. I just know a lot of bitches say they a nurse, so either they lying or something, and they probably are lying because women lie.
A lot of them are lying. Like, say, for you start talking about like a nurse practitioner or a CRNA.
They took a couple of whole classes,
which is technically a nurse. They really are. They're almost not even nurses because they operate under the medical paradigm. They use the medical process as opposed to the nursing process. That's getting off into the weeds.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, people just throw that blanket. I'm a nurse, or I'm in medicine, or I even hear people say, they'll even put on their profile that they have a graduate degree, and it's like, wait a minute, you graduated from some type of technical school. That doesn't mean it's a graduate. A graduate degree means it's like a master's or a PhD or postdoctoral type education.
Baccalaureate. Yeah. But I was saying about nurses because they typically have very good bedside manner, and it tends to bring out more feminine qualities in women. But I don't know. Everybody has their own experiences. So,
well, I mean, that also depends on what type of, because I work in ICU.
Yeah.
And so most of the patients that we work with are out of it. So a lot of the nurses don't have bedside manner because they're not used to talking to patients that's actually yeah. So it just all depends.
So my wife started off in what is that called? Step down, right? But then she eventually went into ICU because that's one of the prerequisites to going into CRNA school. But yeah, absolutely. Pretty much all of you guys' patients are just laying there. But again, that is another aside.
But I do want to say one thing. This kind of going back to the topic of discussion is that I rarely hear women actually articulate why specifically they want a high value man. The couple of instances where I've heard them articulate that, it essentially boils down to selfish reasons. They want a high value man because they don't want to work to pay significant bills after they're pregnant.
So you a
They want
lazy
a high
bitch.
value man because they want the lifestyle that comes with a man that makes a certain income.
Yeah.
But I never hear them say that I want a high value man because I feel that I can complement that high value man on his mission to provide a service to society at large. I never hear that. I never hear a woman say I want a high value man because I want to support that man in seeing his lineage and his vision for his legacy to fruition. I never hear that.
Yeah.
No, because they don't even and that's the mindset that you should have that you don't have. And dudes can and women underestimate a dude's ability to sniff that out. And here's a problem. If you're going to get dudes like that, you got to get them young, because once they start to get in their 30s, they have a much more sense of what they want. That's another thing. And the thing is, that white dude said that. But the thing about it is, what you're doing, like let's cut the bullshit. This is why I keep saying black women, I will push a black female to a white dude. I said, bitch, I will help you. I will help you. You know what? Germany and Italy are probably your best bet if you're gonna go overseas. And they're your best bet as a legit relationship if you're gonna go overseas. And in the United States, I mean, shit. Because if you're gonna really make it like you choose to stay in the community, they want to act like it ain't the market that's dictating that. Like they want to, and my thing is, I'm like, look, and I don't mean to make this just all about Karazine. Like Karazine, if you want to say that that's the solution, then produce the receipts, produce the relationships that's happened as a result of your shit. Maybe that white dude can produce it because he's gonna tell you what the fuck you want to hear. But it's a difference between talking to white people when they're being honest, like on some Richard. I'm not saying all black people are Richard Spencer, but that Get Out shit ain't that far off either. There's a difference between talking to them when they're being candid and talking to them, because a lot of them do not like to be candid because they really feel that nobody is really capable of really accepting their candid opinion for what it is without labeling them. So, and even amongst themselves, a lot of them are not candid. Did I've observed they're more likely to be candid, but they don't just throw that out. Especially, and the same thing with women. You see the same thing what's going on with the Me Too shit. How white men in particular have responded to that shit. And now you got Sheryl Sandberg crying about, well, you need to mentor women. Well, bitch, I'm not mentoring a bitch with a door open. Fuck that. You there's other women that can do that. No, there's not. Yes, there is, or that should have been a problem. You all should have took the good with the bad, because the truth is, and I don't mean to get on a Me Too tangent, every bitch that sucked the white man's dick in order to get up, and we know, and women know the bitches that do that. You know that was a fuck. That was a fuck. You had a choice. That was a choice. And let me be very clear. I won't say any woman that got fired because they were even offered the opportunity to do that and they said no, they got fired. They have a legitimate grievance to sue a company. I would never disagree with that. Even if they quit as a result of the company getting more hostile with them because of what happened, and it was like an executive or protected, they have every right to be mad. I know those situations happen. But there's a lot of situations that women don't talk about where, and I would argue is just as many, where there's an atmosphere of competitiveness amongst women. And we know how women are when they're competitive. And there are always some that, given the opportunity, will cross that line. That is a normal thing. Because remember, companies are ran really at adherence to white culture in America. So this idea that it's just dudes just doing that, all the women weren't talking shit then, because they understood it was what it was and they accepted that as it was. Now all it is, Me Too, was just a power grab to see if they could try to reset it. It wasn't really about changing that, because some of them knew they got to show a little and they actively do it. You can't have Me Too but then have WAP out here in the same time and try to act like these. The problem is women want to dictate when it's okay and when it's not okay. They want to dictate when it's okay to fuck on the job. When I want to fuck him, it's okay. When he wants to fuck me, he shouldn't even approach me.
And I feel sorry for you fellas then, right? Edward and Super Triz, because in the hospital and in the marketing environment, you guys pretty much work with women all the time, right? And in engineering, I don't even know the last time I had maybe a couple of ladies
Obsidian
over
said,
my entire career. I really haven't worked with a lot of ladies. So
Obsidian said that too. That like, and I know you're on the higher tier engineering versus but still it's the same. Like, yeah,
sure.
like so that's interesting. Yeah, but it is, and it's man.
Listen, on that note, man, thanks for having me, fellas, and I definitely talk to you guys later. I'll hop down.
So yeah, I appreciate it, Gabe. Gabe, hey everybody.
Hey, all right.
I'll the game with O'Shea. No, I appreciate it.
They have my job. They have my job throwing WAP left and right.
Yeah,
and
like these chicks are hoes.
Bold enough to partake. I mean, it's there.
I mean, I've benefited from a couple of pass around sessions where it's like almost like the momentum carries into one chick to the other chick. But I stopped that because I was like, these bitches are not going to use that against me to not get fired. And a lot of dudes that don't stop, what happens is they flip it and say, oh, it's pervasive, him fucking women. So they make it look like as a manager, you're a predator. When all of them hoes gave up, they came to you giving the pussy. But it don't matter because we know how we are in HR. We're slaves in HR.
Or what will happen is that you have to administer some sort of disciplinary action, and then they'll try to attribute it to a lack of reciprocated sexual attention.
Yep. They got that in their back pocket, and that's why any chick that I did that with, I just asked if they got transferred to like another thing.
Allegedly, because this is all hypothetically based conversation. We have never ever been involved in inappropriate interpersonal relationships with our coworkers.
I'm not. I mean. Well, it depends. I mean, I'm
allegedly.
I'm not like inappropriate. Here's the thing. I'm not snitching on myself. And I appreciate it, Gabe A. But if you define having sex, well, let me be very clear here. I've never had sex with a female that was technically in a lower position than I was. So anybody that I slept with, as far any woman I have slept with, they were always at the same level that I was, and that I can prove. So because once I became a manager, I stopped that shit cold. And when I say that, what I'm saying is I'm saying that even amongst why those females still work there, because I was in a high turnaround environment, I definitely made sure that they weren't in my orbit. And when I say transferred, they didn't want to be under me anyway, because I didn't play. So trust me, they weren't mad. But oh yeah, shout out to Yusef, man. Y'all should definitely. Yusef probably got one of the best channels that is not really seen like that. Make sure you type in Yusef Watif. This is a dude that actually lives overseas. He lives in Brazil. Insurance guy, finance guy. I definitely want to see him and Alonzo do something because they both talk about life insurance. How do you feel about death? So that information needs to be in there. So shout out to Yusef. I definitely want to do an interview with him one day. We'll bring him over here. So yeah, but I don't really have a personal. I'm glad everybody pretty much said Karazine was like a 6. So she could probably be a 6, maybe a 7 with makeup, 6 without, which I think is a fair assessment. My thing is, I'll say this and I'll let Super Cheers you get the last word. I don't care what you believe. If you want to believe that, your ability to get a in-demand man, whatever the fuck you want to call it, never changes, and there's always a man that makes 6 figures out there for you, you know what? Go ahead and believe that. You have my blessing to believe that. That's your right and your choice. What I would say is what Karazine says is irrelevant. What I say is irrelevant. BGS says irrelevant. Anybody on this panel says irrelevant. What Kevin says is irrelevant. The law of supply and demand, the law of the market, and Darwinism, and the laws of nature are genderless. They don't care, and it's void of emotion. It is what it is. And that is not something you can argue with. So y'all want to be out here believing that shit if you want to. Oh, the law of time too. Time is ever moving. Y'all want to ignore all these chicks you starting to see that they had every opportunity to get in great relationships. I'm talking famous chicks that are on their own. Women like Shania Lathan and shit versus women like Megan Good. and other Fantasia. Y'all want to pretend like 50's the new 40, 60's the new 50, 40's the new 30. Y'all go ahead and do that shit. The corporation's gonna still love taking money from your ass. The church is gonna love taking money from your ass. These YouTubers that you all give up money to pay for your beliefs, because that's all you're doing is tithing to them. Because you're not paying for the truth, because you're not getting that. Because they're not even producing receipts. That's my thing. Karazine cannot produce like relationships in concurrent with how long she's been around, because Karazine knows that white men are not attracted to black women like that. They will fuck them on some island Native American sexual fetish bullshit. Shout out to the Roger Report. All hell, Super Triz allegedly. And that there's a history of that. Y'all want to believe that having sex is what love is? Just because they fuck you, they love you. Go ahead, believe all that. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like you believe in that, it's not gonna affect me as a black man. It's not gonna affect Super Triz. We all gonna do what the fuck we gonna do. But at the end of the day, what y'all can't say is we didn't tell you the truth. So all this fake outrage that I can't handle it. By the way, all these strong and independent women, but they can't handle, man, Kevin is one dude. The fuck? I just don't understand why women listen to him, bitch. Ask them. You have a platform? Fuck. Say anybody that likes Kevin, any female that likes Kevin, call in. And I want to ask you some questions. That's all you got to do. All any of y'all got to do. They'll call in. Their women ain't afraid. They're not afraid of other women. But y'all won't do that because y'all don't want to be seen as arguing with other women. And a lot of y'all won't do that because y'all are disingenuous as hell. Y'all know, Karazine said she listened to Kevin for 3 weeks before she called. Karazine rarely calls in the black men shows. You got to ask yourself, what the fuck compelled her to call in? She did not. I don't believe she intended to do what she did, like before she called, as far as like do that snake shit. I don't believe that. I don't think Karazine thinks that far ahead like that. I don't believe that she actually thought that Kevin would treat her with respect or disrespect. Now she knew what she was getting into when she called Jason Black. But you notice how she hasn't popped off on Jason Black. She just let that be what that's gonna be. All right, man. So Super Chairs, I'm gonna let you get the last word.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna say something, and I might set it off. But again, this is my personal opinion. It's not reflective of the opinions and perspective of Edward Anderson. But let me say this: we all understand that there is a certain concept called brand cachet, and when we look at the automobile industry, and let's kind of exclude Bentley and Rolls Royce and Ferrari and things like that. But when we look at like a prestigious luxury car, we generally perceive Mercedes, Audi, and BMW to be amongst the top three prospective vehicles when we want a car that falls in that particular category. There's individuals, in particular, when we start talking about individuals that come from some of these, Eastern European countries, that would rather have an old Mercedes than have a new Chevrolet, because there's just a certain brand cachet that's associated with having a Mercedes or an Audi or a BMW, because they're perceived globally to be luxury vehicles. So when we kind of look at that and kind of compare that to the dating, sexual marketplace and marriage marketplace, there's a certain cachet associated with certain particular ethnic groups of women. And women fail to understand that a particular group of women fail to understand is that because you may have access to a limited group of individuals from a certain demographic that may look at you as a viable option, men as a whole, and we're talking about all men, not just black men. You talk about all men. When you look at the perspective of all men, how do they rank you as a group of women for a prospective lifetime partner? Some men wouldn't even consider you as that. This is just facts. This is just facts. So when we look at this whole movement of, trying to implore women to explore their options. What these women are going to find when they start moving into these circles, that they're not respected at that same level. Sure, these men will quote unquote date you, which is code word for have sex with you. They may even be seen out on the town with you. But when it's time to get married, are they willing to walk down that aisle with you? Are they willing to bring you into their social circle? Are they willing to include you in their legacy, because you will be the maternal counterpart to their legacy and lineage? And that's what a lot of men look at. They're looking at, okay, I have to bring this. This woman has to be accepted by my social circle. Because a lot of times when you look at some of these other groups, their actual interpersonal dynamics are very important. They don't function independently. They function as a group. That's why they're successful, because they rely on each other. And when you bring somebody who's outside of that group that can't be trusted, then they may ostracize you from that group. So that's why a lot of times men and women from other groups are very selective about who they actually couple with, who they actually partner with for a long term. So, I mean, these women can go ahead and act like they got all these options, but we all know they don't. This is the reason why you consistently see women who are from that particular quote unquote swirling group who consistently enter black male spaces to give reverberation to the narrative that we put out. Because they know deep and doggone well that most women that look like them only have one option, and that's us. I'm going to leave it at that.
All right. Yeah, I was on a call to address something. I'm glad Yusef is down here. Yusef is a guy that he made his money in the United States, did shit, insurance guy, finance guy, and he's living abroad. I'm not saying that's for everybody, because I'm not a big person on, like, I didn't say he expatriated, but living long term abroad. I have no problem being there 6 months or so, but I definitely always want to maintain my tether to the United States. I don't know his situation. He probably has something here too, but what I am saying, so because you got all these game motherfuckers talking about, oh, when niggas are just running it, stupid shit like that. My thing is this. Like I said before, I'm loyal to what the truth is. I do have her Facebook. Somebody sent that to me, so I'm gonna go through it a little bit. I'm not about to put her pictures up. I'm not doing that shit. But I can already look at some of these pictures where she's. I'm not being mean, but like she does the the crayon makeup shit a little bit. And I'm really not saying this to be mean, because I know people that do that. Well, not that I date, but you know what I'm saying. The thing is, this is not like the advice that BGS gave was sound advice. And Kevin, if she called Kevin, is he and this is another thing, she called Kevin in a better mood. Kevin probably would have gave the same advice BGS would have gave. Another thing too is Kevin. This is another thing I want to really say too. Kevin's giving free advice based on a certified expert opinion. An expert opinion. I don't give a fuck about what these women want to say about who he is and who he is. The truth, they like, he this, he don't he this. Guess what? It don't matter what nigga tells you. The truth, see, like, there's a guy out there by the name of Titus Unlimited. Very good dude. I recommend you go to his channel. Very, old dude, lift weights, knows how to dress, like all of that, So, it's kind of dude is like, oh, I like to see myself like a dude as a dude like that when I get like up there in age, right? And the truth is, a lot of these dudes are not telling you the truth is because they either have an economic reason not to, and it's not that they're just outright lying. What they do is there's certain situations where they're going to thread the needle as best as they can, but they're never going to be candid because they know how people take the information. And it's the same thing with dating coaches. Like, for instance, if a dating coach would tell you, if you can't approach women, then you're really not qualified to buy any courses because you're not going to do nothing with them anyway, then you're not going to buy their courses. And they're not going to tell you that. Because at the end of the day, they're going to be like, look, man, it's not my fault. Anybody that sells courses understands that a certain percentage of people. I'll give you a perfect example. There's a guy that I buy leads from. I've talked about this. He has stated, Robert Blackman, he has stated that he said that about 70% of the people that buy leads, these are leads that he generates with his own phone room, with websites that they call in, don't open them. He knows they don't open them because he can tell if they've been opened or not. 70%. And out of that, he knows there's a solid percentage of people that never really call the leads. So all the leads that he generates, people will never be called because they don't. This is another reason why a lot of companies will resell leads on the way too. It's not that they're double or triple dipping. They know a lot of the first wave of people didn't call. And so this is another secret, by the way, that if you get leads that are like 3 to 10 days old, you can almost assume that at least 50% of the people did not call those leads. So it's a solid chance that you're the first person they call that they're actually talking to, not just a voice message. That's another secret, by the way, a lot of people don't know. And it's the same thing with courses. When people sell courses, and I know it's this with your last word, but it's me. Courses, they know, we know, Glendon has said this, they know a certain amount of people will never do anything with the course. Because that's just how humans work. Now, it's not the fault of people selling the courses. That's the fault of people doing it. And by the way, Glendon has free courses that people will get and don't do nothing with because he knows they work. My point is that those people are still spending money. And at the end of the day, what you got to ask yourself, what do they really want? What is it that they're really spending money on? Are they spending money on a made to order result? Or are they actually spending money on information that allow them to empower themselves to do something? Because that is actually what a course is for, to empower you, to educate you and empower you to do what you need to do by mainly way of education. So going back to Karazine, she knows what Kevin said was right. Karazine has told women that they needs to lose weight. She is a woman and she has said it, in her opinion, the right way. And she has gotten attacked by her own audience, which is why she deletes the videos. So there is no right way. Roxy has said that she has said these things and she has gotten attacked. There is no right way to tell someone something they don't want to fucking hear. There's not. And we are adults. That right way bullshit is for people 18, I'll say 21 and under. I'll even give you that, even though 18 to 21 is still in college. Once you get past 21, I don't want to fucking hear about your feelings. You either want the truth or you don't. If you don't, I'm going to send your ass off to somebody else. If you're in the market for lies, I'm going to be the first person to say Derrick Jackson's your man. If you want to be told what to hear, go get Derrick Jackson. And you know what? I'm not trying to diss Derrick Jackson. I'm just saying what it is. Because Derrick would probably, well, who is this nigga? They're like, who is this? This nigga is nobody. Look at him, 3,500 subscribers. He's nobody. Okay, fine. I'm nobody. Doesn't change. But he'll say, but I'm empowering these women. Okay, that's what you want to call it. Just like these pastors are empowering these their church people with Lord, and you're paying for that with tithes. Whatever you want to call it. Does it change? It doesn't. So any of these, so like I said before, I would challenge people to go watch Roxy, I think it's Bevel's channel. I would challenge people to go to Rebecca Lynn Pope. I would challenge people, and another thing too is, even if you ask quote unquote high value men in their real life, they don't have an incentive of telling you the truth unless you force the issue. Why? Why would they tell you the truth? What do they have to benefit by telling your truth? Especially when they know a woman, like when a woman asks you, does this make her look fat? What incentive really do you have of telling her the truth? Honestly, what do you get? You get a lot of bad shit. I should have retitled this video, no truth goes unpunished, or some shit like that. And then you got to add in the fact that this is social media, where this shit isn't about like really getting anything done. Like Soul said this, it's a sole provider. It's about entertainment. And it's not entertaining to hear what you don't want to hear. Just like how I'll give you a perfect example so people don't think this is just gender related. A lot of white folks, the NFL is very conservative. A lot of white men, but white people in general did not want to fucking see fucking a colored take a knee. They didn't want to. It doesn't matter if the flag wasn't being disrespected. That's how they felt it was. That's what they were revalidated by that, by whatever the media said. And they didn't want to see it in the first place. And they like, well, it's not what it's for. I don't give a fuck what it's for. I don't give a fuck what you Negroes are going through. Keep it out of my football. That's really how they felt. That's between you and them. You don't like it, move. What about police? But they ain't fucking with me. So I don't give a fuck. They can't say that because they'll be racist. But a lot of them feel that way. I'm not going to say whether it's right or wrong to feel that way. They just do. Because you have to look at it from that angle as well. And this is how a lot of these females look at social media. They don't go on social media looking for the truth. They go on social media. See, men look at the media, and if men see shit that they don't like, if it's true, they'll move on. They may comment on it, but they'll move on. If it's nuance to be added, they'll add it. But if it's generally true, they're like, whatever. Men look at, is this true? Is this not true? Now, here's the thing. Not to say that all men know what the truth is. Because there's a lot of dudes that think something is correct and it's absolutely incorrect. But my point is, from their point of view, from their vantage point, that's what they're looking at. Women are looking at, does it feel good? It doesn't matter if it's true. Does it feel good? And if the answer is it doesn't feel good, then the answer is it's wrong. It's wrong. End of. You understand that. You understand where women are coming from with it. Because if you notice, with Kevin, most of these females are actually saying Kevin's right. Even the ones that are detracting from him. But what do they say? It doesn't feel good. So therefore, it being right is irrelevant to does it feel good. That's what they all have in common. And the problem, I would say, with black women in particular, but Tommy Lauren actually exhibited that this is not a black female only thing, is that what feels good is not always what's right. In fact, most of the time, what feels good is usually not right. That's why we have these concepts called discipline. It doesn't feel good to work out to somebody that doesn't work out. It doesn't feel good to eat right to somebody that generally doesn't eat right. And I'm speaking this from experience. You have to train your taste buds. Like if you eat more vegetables and shit, and you're used to eating sugar because of the combination of salt, sugar, and flour is designed to hit your taste buds in a certain way, processed foods, you have to retrain your taste buds to like vegetables more. You have to train your taste buds to not eat fast food. Those things take, and in the meantime, those things take discipline. You have to train yourself, shout out to Solo, talking about no fat. You have to train yourself to do semen retention and then not jack off every day, if that's what you do. OnlyFans should show you that there's a market for that. You don't need to listen to me. You have to train yourself to make calls. You have to create a habit. You have to take out bad habits. And the problem is black women have just too many bad habits. And their bad habits are so bad that even other bitches of other races with bad habits can say, I may have bad habits, but I don't have that many bad habits. I may not be skinny, but I'm not obese. And I know how to at least shut the fuck up long enough to get what I want. Black women can't even shut the fuck up long enough to win. They can't even shut the fuck up long enough. They can't even give the get. Karazine knows all of this. And Karazine knows most of the women that listen to her will never change. She may believe they have the ability to get the dude that they want, but they'll never be who they need to be to get it. She knows this because she said it. And I know women that listen to her long enough have heard her say this. So at the end of the day, man, Karazine is got her own church, just like Jackson, just like, Marquette. Can't believe somebody named somebody fucking Marquette, or did he name himself that? He didn't want to say somebody else is on the DL. Anyway, yeah, it doesn't fucking matter. Like Jason Black is not Kevin's biggest fan either. But I promise you, as listening to the business, which I haven't in a while, because I've gotten tired of Jason Black just talking shit like this. Because the truth, here's the truth, and I'm gonna say this, and I am really done. I know I say that like 5 times, and it's a lot. Do you realize, like, seriously though, Jason, you know how many subs Jason Black could have got for the business? It's like, damn. And you know what's funny? Jason, even with the video he did, he could still get subs. If Jason did maybe he has. I'm not subscribed to him. That could be why I haven't seen it. But do you realize that Jason Black could have broke that down? Agree or disagree? Agree or disagree? Jason's been saying he knows more than he could show it. And he could have gave that good advice too, I think. Do you realize the growth that Jason could have got? I would rather go to Jason Black more than Marquette, more than Saints Center. But it is what it is. Do you realize how much growth he could have got just off that issue? Hell, like that's why Donovan Sharp had to do a quick little video. Coach Adams. I'm surprised Sandman hasn't done a video. Because the truth is, understand one thing about the white manosphere. The white manosphere has that they know about swirlers. They know how to handle them and deal with them. They have their videos. Type in Sandman and type in black women. You'll get some good 10-minute videos. Sandman is I haven't listened to him in years, but boy, Sandman, in fact, I remember when black women were wilding out on Sandman because of that shit. So you can get one. So my thing is, one white dude that makes $1 million doesn't change shit. Because I promise you, if I see what his wife looks like, his wife ain't ugly. I promise you, and I promise you, his wife ain't average looking either. I promise you that she may not be a supermodel, but nobody's out here telling dudes to get a supermodel. Remember, officially, dudes are saying that high value men should get upgradable 7s, not 8s or 9s. And you saw I had 2 dudes that made 6 figures, and I established what the floor was and what their floor, and I established their the ceiling of what they were talking about. They both agreed. And you know Gay Bay don't agree with shit if he don't agree with it. He don't go along to get along. And you know Super Triz don't go along to get along. So anyway, man, it's been a great thing. If you haven't liked or subscribed, definitely do so. Yeah, he did. Because the thing about it is Sandman recognizes that it does, even though Karazine's black, the Karazine's a fucking user. And I'm gonna keep it real. Karazine, this is what white men, one of the fears that white men have is they have that they're gonna get cucked by black women. And they may say that that's not true, or that's not something in their like consciousness, but you can very much tell. Like, it's very rare. Karazine's situation is not normal for a white dude that has any kind of serious prospects, because when you have a kid by a black man, you've demonstrated you fuck black men. And white men really don't want that in their black women, because they don't want to even believe that they have to compete. That's something that's very airy present with them. They can try to front like it's not all day. But you see it in how they respond, even how the split between the manosphere, and it had to be a black manosphere because they couldn't leave the BBC talk alone. You know it's heir apparent out there. So they're not really going to be dealing with females that go back and forth racially, because they're saying culturally you're not really with them. And there's other options that they have. And that's really the only thing that Kevin is talking. I'm going to end it with this. This is the only thing Kevin's talking about with looks. At the end of the day, you have to make up. There's other women that are as attractive or more attractive that are younger. You have to beat that. This idea that you're going to find these dudes that are who they are, but they don't know their value. Like, it's like thinking you're going to go overseas and find a chick that she's very attractive, but she doesn't know her value. Based on that culture, that might be true, but you bring her ass back to the United States and you might have a problem. Because the culture will reevaluate her and she will see that and respond to that. That's very true here too. Dudes know how much other money dudes that make 6 figures knows it's not a lot of dudes like them. It doesn't matter how they, and that's another thing too. Oh man, I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all know I'm an asshole about this. There's another thing. This sole provider said that he was when he was commenting, he was talking about That white dude was talking about how, dudes, the way they dress and they're not wearing a suit and all of that. But guess what? The truth is, Karazine or any of these chicks, because they're shallow as fuck. So by definition of what he was talking about, even with the looks, they're disqualified from what he's talking about because they're shallow as shit. And quite frankly, they don't want to work because the situation he was talking about, black women are not used to doing, being an XO. Black women don't want to be an XO. That's not how they react. They might be an XO for a white dude. They're not going to do that. And see, as a white man, he can't understand that. So whatever. But when he was talking about they don't wear suits and they dress down, that's cool. First of all, let's not act like black men are just wearing suits like that. So that was just an attack on Kevin as far as image consultant. But the other aspect that I would say too is most of black women in particular, and I would say white women too, that's an American woman thing. An American woman thing. A lot of them are they're not necessarily looking for people to be suited up. But this idea that a lot of these females, they talk like they want a high value dude, are not looking for the aesthetics of a high value dude. That's bullshit. Most of the women that are average looking to have high value men, they got them when they were younger. And younger, we're going to say, is really under 25. But then you could go to later in 26, 27. But I can promise you they got them before those dudes were economically where they needed to be. That's point blank, period. Or they were in circles where they had those dudes around them. Those are facts. And I don't see none of that being said amongst the women that try to go at Kevin. All of this like response shit, they actually never responded. They just reacted. All of this is reacting versus responding because they never responded with any points. That's why Karazine said, I need to go get a white dude to do it. He's got money just to override that. But the truth is, it doesn't matter what he says, because if he were to go and actually talk to these females and to what they want, he would come to the same conclusion that Karazine has come to and what things Karazine has stated in the past. And he come to the same conclusion Rebecca has come in the past. So a lot of the shit that he wouldn't argue with you with it. He would just give you the information and then say, okay, that's it. He may not say it with an attitude. He may not say, oh, you bitches, all that. He may not do all of that. But what he's going to do is he's not going to keep on donating his time to the conversation. That's what he's not going to do. So this idea that average women, a lot of dudes, a lot of people are trying to make it seem like average women are ugly. Average women that have average looks, there's other things they're bringing to the table as to why men are with them. And I promise you, if you ask those women, they can tell you what that is. Or at least the dudes that they are with can tell you what that is. A lot of women that are in this space, they can't tell you what they bring to a man other than sex. And then they talk about being a business partner. Most men are not looking for that. And I don't give a fuck about what he said. Most men do not have wives that are XOs doing all of this inbred business work. That's straight bullshit. Some women do that, and I've seen women do that across races, but that is not true. This idea that everything's 50-50 in the elite, that's not true. And I'm not saying these women don't do anything and they just sit in the house. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that, but they're not in business, in their job. All that's bullshit. But anyway, believe what the fuck you want to believe. Believe this is Everybody Hates Black Men with another episode. Believe what you want to believe. What I say don't matter. I'm just a nigga with an opinion. Do what the fuck you want. And I hope the best for you. But anyway. How long did we do this for? 2 hours. That's not bad. That's not bad. That dude, man, if his wife divorces him, man, he's gonna be so fucked. And I hope that doesn't happen. Anyway, this is Edward Anderson signing off. Peace.
Peace.
Yes, I know. I ain't even think you would ask. Like, this nigga gonna keep going and going. Let me leave my phone.
I'm just working